Good morning, everybody. I'm sure most people have heard of Wawak, but I thought maybe I would share this for those that have never heard about them. And I will say that I am not affiliated with them. I just want to share the resource. Since we've lost Joann's as our go-to local shop for this type of stuff, I thought I would introduce a catalog. I personally, they do have a website, but I'm old school. I still like a paper catalog to look through. Um, so that's why I'm here. And basically, they carry everything. So we're going to just do a quick flip through this catalog together. I am going to be looking at it on my screen so that I can keep it right side up for you guys. Okay. All right. So if you've never heard of Wawak, they are a great source for sewing supplies. They are in Conklin, New York. And let's just dive in. Hi, Melanie. Good morning. I'm originally from upstate New York, and I'm not sure where Conklin is, but it sounds familiar. New York's a pretty big state, so yeah. All right. So they got these lovely folks who'll answer the phone if you call the 1-800 number here. I have put a link to the website, and so you can visit the website and request a paper catalog. Threads, they have, this is all the Gutermann colors that you can select and get. I think I'm going to do a big thread order with my money from YouTube this month. And because I'm going to be sewing little girl dresses, I want to get some more thread in for that. I generally use Coates and Clark, but I do like the Gutermann thread. And they have all sorts, all-purpose, every sort you could need. This is all-purpose poly-wrapped polycore thread, so all kinds of threads. So we're starting right off with threads. Here's the Coates and Clark, the dual duty. That's what I generally use because it's usually cheaper than Gutermann. But hey ho, whatever. You buy what you want. So, and top stitching threads. So if you want to make your own cool bib overalls or jeans, you can do the fancy top stitching. And look, they even have it like in pinks and blues and greens. I had no idea. At Joann's, when I worked there, the only top stitching thread we carried was the gold that you generally see on denim. So this is cool. I might order some top stitching thread, maybe in one of the pinks, and maybe this royal blue. That's beautiful. I even like those two blues. I just like blue. So again, I'm just going to flip through. You can see all the different threads. This is 100% premium cotton thread. So that would be the thread you'd want to get for if you're making those microwavable cotton pot holder like things to put your bowl in. So mercerized cotton thread, all-purpose cotton thread. Then they've got your serger threads. I love to get the swirly variegated thread for my serger. I just think it adds a little bit of fun that's hidden inside your clothes when you sew them. I guess I'm just weird like that. I like a little flash of color in there. This is stretch thread. Now that I have never tried. Wow, it's $12 a spool, but it looks like you get fairly big spools. That might be something I look at. I'm always looking for different ways to handle knits. All right. Blind hemming thread, which I had no idea there was a separate thread for that. So you learn something with this catalog too. Nylon bonded thread for sewing leather. So like I said, this is a tremendous source. embroidery threads if you do machine embroidery. Sashiko thread. I love the variegated colors. That would be fun to get. I'm looking and seeing what I'm going to stick on my order. I don't know about these pre-wound bobbins because each of my sewing machines bobbins are different, and I know you can really mess the machine up if you put the wrong bobbin in. They got a cotton basting thread, which would be great if you were quilting. And then zippers, all sorts of zippers. Just all sorts of zippers. Wow. I might need to order a couple zippers for a project I'm working on, because even with all the thrifted zippers I have, you never have the size that you need. And I know I can cut a longer one if it's got the plastic teeth. It's real easy to cut it off. You just sew where you want it to stop and then cut the rest off. But on what I want to make, I really would like metal zipper. Okay, then from zippers, it looks like we move into oh, you can get a whole zipper repair kit. And then this is a lube stick. I guess you put that on a zipper that sticks. That's good to know about. Then tops and bottoms for zippers. So like if the bottom comes off a coat, you know how aggravating that is when your zipper fails on a coat. Buckles and frogs. These were always called frogs when I was growing up. Yep, frog closures with 3 loops. In high school, I made a bed jacket. It was a quilted bed jacket, and it had frogs all down the front. Somewhere I have some goofy picture of me wearing this pink satin gown that I had made with a long slit up the leg, and I have my bed coat on. If I can find it, I'll scan it and let y'all have a good laugh in the little post section of my YouTube channel. All right, so all sorts of buttons and clips and just all kinds of things. Bag making supplies, snaps, sew on snaps, pop, what do they call them? Where you pinch them together. And the tools to do it with, grommets. I love this. I would love to get one of those. I'll have to show that. It's a hand press to put in real heavy duty things like grommets in a shower curtain and thing. That would be so much nicer than trying to pound it on a piece of metal that Scott gave me. They got the snaps on the tape like you'd put in Baby Romper. Auntie Caffeine Crafts, good morning. No, this is a Wawak. Wawak. It's a sewing supply company, and I put a link to their website. They got hooks and eyes on tapes and loose, all sorts of hooks and eyes. Then you move into buttons, uniform buttons, men's shirt buttons. They got the little things for in the collar stays. And if you need a little bit of expansion in the neck because your neck got thick, they got these little things that you button in the buttonhole and then it loops over. Good morning, Crafty Visage. All sorts of buttons. Button loops. So like if you were doing down the bottom of the back of a wedding dress, you could really aggravate the bride and put like a gazillion buttons down her back. Body tape. At Joann's, it was called Hollywood tape. It came in a pink package. And what it is you put the tape like on your boob so your gown doesn't gape open and you don't have an accident like poor Janet Jackson had. You basically tape your clothes to you so they don't fall off. A makeup mask. Who knew? Who knew? I guess that's to protect you when you put your gown on. This is stuff for working with gowns. They got the illusion. They've got glass beads. They got the horsehair braid. This is really awesome. Oh, this is all the shaping stuff, the boning and all of that kind of stuff to give you structure. Hi, Peg. Let's see. Corset, bra, and lingerie hardware. Cup inserts, more hardware. Hooks and eyes. Shoulder pads. Hello, the 1980s. Grosgrain and Petersham ribbon. Mending patches. Elbow patches. Reflective clothing tape. My son wears that because he works in a warehouse. Seam binding. Sorry, Callie wants back in. Hang on, girl. You're not trapped. I'm coming. There's only one left out on the porch. It's just too hot already for me to have the door open for them to go in and out. Bias tape. Acetate taffeta hem facing. Woohoo! Specialty bindings. Then we've got hook and loop durable fasteners, which is Velcro, and this girl hates Velcro with a passion. That stuff sticks to everything but what you want it to stick to. I hate Velcro. Sorry, but you can get it at Wawac. Elastics. Here's all your elastics. So they're a go-to for your notions, definitely. Fold over elastic like you could use on underwear. I might get some of that. Webbing by the roll. All kinds of webbing. Interfacing. I need to see if they have the... I love shirt tailor. It's not super heavy, but it gives you nice structure. And I used to buy it at Joann's when the interfacing would be half off. I would buy a bolt. And with the bags I just made, I used a good bit of my bolt up. So, yeah. I don't know if it would be strong enough to hold our fat back. But it's a good idea. I know. Actually, shoulder pads are coming back in some things. If you look through a pattern catalog anymore, they'll have some jackets that look like they would need shoulder pads because they're very structured and they go out straight. So yes, shoulder pads are still around. Let's see. Specialty fabrics. They got the linings, interlinings, canvas, like the hair canvas and things like that you would use in things that needed a whole lot of structure, a men's suit, that kind of thing. Pillow forms, cording, drapery linings, drapery hardware, drapery buckram. Then we're going into tailoring tools. So this is tailoring tools, sewing gauges, ruler grippers. They used to, instead of calling them ruler grippers, you could get like sandpaper dots. And that's what I've put on some of my rulers because they don't obstruct. These would work the same way. In fact, I've got my big square ruler. I'll show you what I use. I just put 3 of them on here. You can see the little, this is just a little sandpaper dot and they had sticker on the back and I just put it on the back side of the ruler. So when you put this down, it doesn't slide because those sandpaper kind of grip into the fabric. But these would work the same way. Hem gauges, just all kinds of rulers, measuring tapes. You can order invoices if you're going to start a sewing business. business. Oh, okay. Be safe today. Stay hydrated. Dress forms, a stand tailoring platform, so you can get somebody to stand up on it so you can do their hem without having to get all the way on the floor. Draping tapes, skirt markers, all kinds of permanent and removable pencils and marking tools, tailor chalk. Let's see. Tailor chalk sharpeners, pins, all kinds of pins, safety pins, ball-headed pins, straight pins, T-pins, fork or tidy pins, rotary cutters and mats, and looks like X-Acto knives, seam rippers. I need to look through and see if they have a tool to sharpen a seam ripper. If not, I need to order a new seam ripper that's got the pointy side on it, because mine are all dull as they can be. Easy cut spring action scissors, punches and cutting tools and snips, and more scissors and more scissors, patterning tools to draft your own patterns. Here's the tracing and pattern paper, which I need a roll of the tracing paper because I trace my patterns out. And I never cut the tissue. I trace the size I need and do the alterations on the tissue paper that I buy. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's crazy. Well, once you cut the pattern, it's cut. And if somebody else wanted me to make something for them, I wouldn't have those other sizes. And I am not going to draw out a pattern larger because I'm not that talented. Irons, all kinds of irons. Ironing rests and stands. I need this. This is the iron cleaner. My hot iron cleaner, I tried to use it this morning to clean my iron off, and it's probably 25 years old. So I need to highlight that to remind me to come back. I've got a highlighter here. I need to order some of this. To clean off the bottom of my iron. Let's see. All kinds of stuff for your iron. Steamers, ironing boards, pressing tools, a ham, and all the different pressing things. This gets into like the dry cleaning stuff. So they do dry cleaning cleaners as well. So if you ever wanted to go into the dry cleaning business, you could do that. All kinds of adhesive products. Look at all of them. Wow. This is Mary Ellen's Best Press. And these are starch and anti-static spray. Then you get into, if you were going to be a dry cleaner, you got a rack with all the different plastics to put over it. Yeah. They sell everything. Hangers, racks. I would love a rack like this right here to hang my Project Dress-A-Girl dresses on as I'm working on them. But I have a little cheapy $25 one that I've got at the Walmart Traveler's Rest years ago, and I use that. They got little rack dividers, so like you could divide your small, medium, and large, blah, blah, blah. Just all kinds of stuff. Things to hold your bobbins, to keep them organized so they don't roll all over and come unrolled. Storage boxes for your thread. Sewing lamps, racks for your thread. Thimbles, tools that make your job easier. Tweezers, and then clips that I love. Yes, Cole, I know. Bias tape makers, which I have this set right there. think I have 2 of them because I bought one thrifting. Thread and needle lubricant. If you guys don't know about this, if you're going to sew like pleather, this is what you need to get. You lube your needle so it'll go through the pleather. I didn't know about this until I had a drag queen working for me, and she told me all about this. She said, "That's what you need, honey." And I said, "Okay, I'll remember that if I ever make another matrix coat," which I have not. When my son was like 15, he wanted a black pleather matrix coat, and I made it, but you have never heard Becky cuss so much. Yeah, sewing machine oils, light bulbs, knee pads, bobbin winders, a check tension spring. So you got your parts too, sewing machine parts. All kinds of stuff. Sewing machine feet, all the different bobbins. See how different all 3 of those look? That's why you have to pay attention to what bobbin your sewing machine calls for, because you can't just interchange bobbins. You can't. And these are all the needles. Needles and pins, beeswax to condition your thread so it doesn't knot. Home machine needles. And the order form. So there you go. Now, if you want to get one of their catalogs or check them out, I put the link to their website down below. It's just www.wawac.com. And they have a phone number on the catalog here, and I'm sure they'll have it on their site. But I wanted to share this resource since we lost Joanne's, and I hope that's helpful. All right. You're very welcome. And welcome to anybody that's new. I decided to open the chat to everybody that came in this morning. Generally, I have my chats for subscribers only. So welcome to anybody that's new, and I hope you'll subscribe. I do all kinds of things on here. I'm not strictly a sewing channel. I'm not strictly a gardening channel. I'm not strictly a art channel. I do a little of everything. I'm very eclectic. You just never know what's going to show up on here. Sometimes we'll be in the kitchen cooking. Sometimes we'll be out in the yard digging around. Whatever comes to me. All right. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see some of you around the web. Bye, everybody.